Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Monday, October 24th. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Last month, we told you about Stacy Gomez, a tenant who won the case against her landlord to have her rent evicted. But she's now facing a new challenge. Gomez has been notified by the city about a pending order to condemn her unit because of high levels of mold found in an air quality test.
I don't have anywhere to go. There's no supports by the city or the province to support people in my situation to have access to emergency housing. What is available is the shelter system. And we know that shelters are full. There are no beds in shelters. So what does that mean for most people in my situation? Becoming homeless.
It's an issue that had earlier been raised by Gomez. Documents show her landlord, Marcus Ranjbar, knew it was an issue.
The environmental report indicates that he knew that there was an issue since November 2021, before purchasing the property. Yet he took no actions to address this issue. Even in July, there was a pipe that burst due to renovations, and they stopped the visible leaking, but there's still a gash in my ceiling. There was never any work to repair that. And then when the inspector came in August, he even said, it looks like it's still wet. So these definitely contributed to the problem.
After Gomez won the case last month to not be rent-evicted, her landlord filed a notice of appeal with the Small Claims Court of Nova Scotia, seeking to have that decision overturned. A hearing date for the appeal has not yet been set. Hundreds of public school staff are on strike today across the province. These are the workers from the Annapolis Regional Center for Education who walked off the job today, calling for better wages. Workers also took to the streets of New Minas, Kingston, Berwick, and Annapolis Royal. According to the Nova Scotia Government and General Employees Union, the NSGEU, workers from the South Shore Regional Center for Education are also expected to hit the picket lines tomorrow. The strike comes after more than a year of bargaining between members of the NSGEU and the educational centers. Union members that include educational assistants, student support workers, and more say they're not paid fairly or equally across the board. Pre-primary programs were canceled due to the strike, and parents of students who are unable to attend class without a support worker were asked to find other arrangements for their kids. This comes after staff at Dalhousie University here in Halifax went on strike last week for similar reasons. A woman was rushed to hospital after being pulled from her burning Halifax apartment by firefighters last night. Crews were called to the fire on Herring Cove Road just after 10 p.m. 8 units responded. When they arrived, they found heavy smoke coming from a window on the top floor of the 3-level building. When they entered the smoky apartment, they found a fire in the kitchen and an unconscious woman. Firefighters performed CPR on her until EHS took over. Halifax Fire says the woman had a pulse when she was taken to hospital, but there is no update on her current condition. Most of the other occupants of the building were able to return to their apartments later, but there was smoke damage on the 3rd floor of the building. There's no word on the cause of the fire. A truck driver has been charged after hitting a woman in a mobility scooter on Friday in Halifax. On October 21st, around 2 p.m., police say they were called to the intersection of Hollis Street and Terminal Road after the driver of a Freightliner truck was southbound on Hollis Street and went through the stop sign at the intersection. The driver struck an 83-year-old woman in a mobility scooter in the crosswalk. The woman was taken to hospital with what are believed to be non-life-threatening injuries. The driver, a 53-year-old man, has been charged with failing to yield to a pedestrian in a crosswalk and failing to stop at a stop sign. An emotional and bittersweet day at the former home for colored children yesterday, as it was reopened after a 3-year refurbishment and was renamed as Kinney Place. The home, located on a government-purchased 85-hectare farm on Old Preston Road, opened in 1921 as a private child-caring institution to care for African Nova Scotians whose needs were not being met in a racialized society.
It was established originally because Black children were not allowed to enter white homes. But these are homes that for children. Social services did not, or could not, or would not allow Black children to go into some of the white homes for children.
Yesterday's ribbon-cutting ceremony and celebration recognized the harm that's been done here, with many stories of abuse. In 2014, Premier Stephen McNeil issued a formal apology to former residents of the home and to the African Nova Scotian community. But the day was also to shed light on the positive opportunities to come.
The future plans for this property is to have low-income housing, to have a cemetery, to have some senior complexes, and there's even some talk of having we've talked about having places for students, also for ex-inmates.
The Acoma Family Center opened in 2011 as a nonprofit residential care program that enabled siblings in foster care to stay together. The Acoma Holdings Incorporated was created in 2014 to manage and develop the land. The old orphanage building, which sat vacant for decades, is now home to Black businesses, including a cafe. It will be a community hub, an incubator of Black business, and a space for healing.
I want us to kind of have a place where the money is brought back into the community and creating jobs here. We have a local farm here, so we can get fruits and vegetables. So we're going to implement that into the cafe as well.
The building that's now known as Kinney Place is named after James Alexander Ross Kinney, a founder of the Nova Scotia Home for Colored Children and its first superintendent. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire, presented by SaltWire.
They score! What a pass and what a finish!
The Toronto Six of the Premier Hockey Federation have a new goalie, and it's Carly Jackson from Amherst, Nova Scotia. Carly, welcome back to the Atlantic Sports Wire. How are you adjusting to life in Toronto?
Thank you so much, Scott, for having me. I'm having a great time in Toronto. I'm just having a blast. I get to do what I love every single day. I get to be on the ice with my teammates, and I'm just trying to soak up every single minute.
You played last season for the Buffalo Beauts, obviously now with the Toronto Six. What's been the biggest adjustment?
Transition is hard always, right? Like you have to get used to new things and new routines and things like that. But it's also been incredibly refreshing. I think one of my favorite things is just the feeling of it being a breath of fresh air. I mean, I'm falling in love with hockey all over again, and I'm just having an absolute blast. I love the people I get to work with every day. It's just, I've been learning all the time, and I've been competing every day. I have to show up and I have to get better every day. And that's been the most fulfilling thing, and just getting to know the people that I'm getting to do it with.
Carly and the Toronto Six open their regular season on Saturday, November 5th versus the Whitecaps. In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.
Thank you, Scott. On to weather now to see what's coming up in the forecast this week. We're going to check in now with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders.
Thanks, Kate. Well, it's feeling more like spring these days than mid to late fall. The temperatures have been mild up into the mid to high teens, and I can tell you that the mild temperatures will be remaining in the forecast a bit longer, but some unsettled weather is on the way. Tonight we will have clouds with showers and drizzle, the temperature near 14 degrees. We start near 15 on Tuesday morning, cloudy with fog patches and a chance of showers. As we go into the afternoon, holding on to a chance of showers, but a relatively low chance. I think it'll be dry overall. We'll see the high temperature heading up to 19 degrees, so another mild day on the way. The chance of showers will be in the forecast as we go into Wednesday, and then as we go later Wednesday and through Wednesday night, periods of rain develop as a series of weather systems will move through the region. We have 2 low pressure systems I'm watching and an associated cold front with one of those systems. We do clear out though as we go through Thursday. Kate.
Thank you, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to saltwire.com. And you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at SaltWire Today. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.